Other Lives, the 77th Doctor Who main range Big Finish release, first released in 4 parts across CD and download on the 13th of December 2005, and written by Gary Hopkins. The TARDIS arrives in 1851 at the Crystal Palace during the Great Exhibition, to which the 8th Doctor, played by Paul McGann, and his companion Charlie Pollard, voiced by India Fisher, they want to be able to check out the Great Exhibition and some of the things on offer. Meanwhile, Keris, played by Conrad Westmus, is to stay aboard the TARDIS because his alien appearance might alarm some people. However, upon exiting the TARDIS, they find themselves mixed up in a little bit of espionage and problems that will ultimately separate them. Namely, there are 2 other guests attending the convention that prove to be a bit of a problem. Madame de Roche, voiced once again by India Fisher, and Monsieur de Roche, voiced by Conrad Westmus. They are kind of like... oh god, how best to explain it? They represent Louis Napoleon. They're basically here to represent him, to check out the Great Exhibition and see what's on offer and all of that. However, they end up being chased down by an assassin named Christian Griswold, played by Gary Bakewell, who seeks to basically assassinate them and create a new republic for England, because if they're cut off from France, then trade deals won't happen, and, well, you can guess the rest of it. However, the Doctor and co are helped to stop this by the Duke of Wellington, Arthur Wellesley, voiced by Ron Moody. Now, Ron Moody you may actually remember because he appeared in the 1968 musical film production of Oliver. Oliver Twist, Oliver. And Ron Moody was supposedly one of the names considered for the part of the 3rd Doctor back in the late 60s. However, supposedly he turned it down because he didn't like the idea of playing one character for an extended period of time, something which he admits he later regretted. To which the part of the 3rd Doctor eventually went to John Pertwee. But to have Ron Moody in a Doctor Who story, that's good enough for me. I actually think he would have been very good as the Master at one point, but anyway. He voices the Duke of Wellington, and upon helping the Roches, Madame de Roche and Monsieur de Roche, into the TARDIS to protect them from the assassin, they face a bit of a problem when the TARDIS takes off. Like, the Doctor had deactivated the controls so that Keris could open the door every now and again, but in doing so, the de Roches end up activating something in the TARDIS which causes the TARDIS to disappear. Meanwhile, the Doctor is partially arrested for his part in the schemes. Charlie ends up roaming the streets and eventually runs into a man named Rufus Dimplesqueeze, voiced by Maitland Chanda, who at first mistakes her for a prostitute, but then, upon her asking for help to get to the Duke of Wellington, because she knows he can help her, he eventually helps her on her way. Meanwhile, Keris is eventually discovered by a man named Jacob Crackles, voiced by Mike Holloway, and he sees Keris as this great monster, and he shoves him into a sideshow because he believes he can make a buck off of Keris's monstrous appearance. He's basically running a freak show, basically showing off all the people of London with various deformities. He's saying, well, come and see the freaks, only a penny a show, the like, to which Keris has to endure being humiliated in these shows, but then when he is eventually rescued by the Duke of Wellington and Charlie, and also the Duke of Wellington's assistant, Fazakerly, voiced by Michael Hobbs, Keris does actually end up coming back later on and reaffirms to Crackles that he is not human. He is a Utermizan, and he shows him just how monstrous Utermizans can truly be, as to get revenge on Crackles for locking him up. He basically blinds him and cripples him, meaning he can't really do much anymore. Meanwhile, the Doctor, while trying to track down the TARDIS, also ends up meeting a mysterious woman called Georgina Marlowe, voiced by Francesca Hunt. And while at first he encounters her in the Great Exhibition, she's just looking for her children, she later helps the Doctor get out of prison and insists that he is her husband, Edward Marlowe, to which apparently Edward Marlowe looks exactly like the 8th Doctor, only with a beard, a very long beard. And she keeps insisting that this man is her husband, even though the Doctor frequently tells her that he's not, to which she later admits to him, I know you're not my husband, but I kind of need you to pretend to be my husband. Because it turns out that the man who Charlie had met, Rufus Dimplesqueeze, is actually Edward's uncle. And they had been staying in a house that was technically owned by Mr. Dimplesqueeze. And when Edward disappeared off into Africa for some great exhibition, she and her children were left alone in the house. And it's now been 1 year since Edward disappeared. And basically, if he doesn't return soon, then she and her children are going to get kicked out of the house. So it's a rather unfortunate set of circumstances to which everybody has to kind of help out each other. The Doctor has to help Georgina in order to pretend to be Edward until something can be figured out. Charlie has to find a way back to the Doctor, well, with the help of the Duke of Wellington, and Keris has to get out and be a sideshow freak show. Ultimately, I think this is a story where all of the parts, they work on their own, but when they come together, it does actually make for a really good story. So, that's my quick little review of the Big Finish story, Other Lives. Let me know what you think about it down below in the comments. Alright, until next time, see ya.